This week on the Syrin, a new setting to play with in Pathfinder, a cool new expansion for Shadowrun, a monstrous card-based game, a really fun new 60s style dice game, and this week's out-of-print gaming book you must have. Love playing Pathfinder and looking to spice it up with a new and different high fantasy world to explore? Well, let me introduce Neo Exodus, a fantasy love letter to the science fiction masterpiece Babylon 5. This is a fully realised campaign setting being developed for the Pathfinder RPG, and a new book is currently being kickstarted. It's at 700% already. It seems that starting at a modest target of $1,000 was a good idea. So, what is this setting, you ask? Well, it focuses on defeating ancient evils, rediscovering the world of Exodus, and geopolitical intrigue based in a magical setting. Neo Exodus brings to players and GMs new races with unique alternative racial options and highly advanced magics that are almost impossible to differentiate from advanced technologies. I played Neo Exodus a year ago at PaizoCon, and though this rich world was a little hard to take in at 8 AM after multiple sleep-deprived nights, I'm excited to see what new and fun features this setting will offer the Pathfinder community now. Have you got a favourite fantasy setting for Pathfinder, or do you always just play in Galarian? The Dicestormers are never quite sure where we're playing. Let us know about your settings in the comments below. Also up on Kickstarter now is a great looking game that combines, once again, card-based gameplay with a cool looking skill mechanic called Monsterous. Each player is a Greek god or goddess with a number of classic Greek monsters to wreak havoc on several Earth-based locations. In order to activate your monster, you have to fling a card representing that monster onto the city of your choice. And you need that card to land on the city and on any other monsters from other players in order for it to be effective and to scare the unfaithful mortals living in that city so they'll believe in you again. I think this is a great combination of gameplay, and personally I can't wait to try it out. The whole Kraken vs Cyclops thing really tickles my fancy as well, and it looks like this will be a fun game for all the family. Check it out on Kickstarter and join in if you think this is your cup of tea. That's a very English expression, isn't it? What do Americans say in this context? Where was I? Oh yes, the game is already funded, but there are lots of great perks to pick up on, so go ahead and get monstrous. Catalyst Games Labs have just released a pre-order of their new supplement called Run Faster for the legendary Shadowrun RPG. Shadowrun is one of the older RPGs, which explores what could happen if magic suddenly entered the mundane world. Set in the not too distant future, humanity is caught between an ever more oppressive corporate presence and the sudden transformation of large parts of the population into mythical races. You play a Shadowrunner who takes the jobs that aren't strictly legal. Playing as anything from a dwarf to a troll, you must cultivate your contacts and find a way to earn enough new yen to stay alive. This is made more difficult now that dragons can run for president, elves have forged their own kingdom, and your cousin is developing a wonderful set of tasks that you're pretty sure he didn't get from your side of the family. If you're a player who likes to build characters with lots of depth and backstory, and you don't mind some fairly crunchy rules, then I'd really encourage you to take a look at this new supplement. Run Faster covers some of the more obscure metatypes, like hobgoblins, centaurs, and even giants. Imagine seeing one of those walking down the streets of your local mall. For those of you who are interested in the more subtle influences of the Sixth World, Run Faster also gives you an in-depth look at building contacts with important NPCs, new qualities, alternative character building rules, as well as info on maintaining your runner's lavish lifestyle of eating kibble and watching your favourite SimStar. This supplement is available as a pre-order, or if you just can't wait, you can grab a digital copy now from Drivethrurpg. Another one from Kickstarter this week is the new game from designer Sandy Peterson called Dicenstein. This game is a bit of a mashup, with players rolling dice to assemble their monsters from parts dug up in a graveyard by your faithful Igor. However, we're not talking human parts, but limbs and extras from the classic monsters of 60s horror movies like werewolves, vampires, and plant men. Each part gives your monsters different powers and combinations and ways to affect the other players and vice versa, which should lead to a large amount of replayability for this game. Once you have your monster assembled, it's time to rove across the board fighting the monsters of other players. My only gripe with the Kickstarter is that there are only 2 pledge levels. One where you support the game and the other where you get the game. Seems like that's a missed opportunity here. You know, we who kickstart, we love a good gamified funding system. I want perks and levels and incentives. At any rate, if monster creation and monster battling is your thing, and if it isn't, why on earth are you watching the Syrin? Head over to the links below and pick up some monster mayhem. And finally, for this episode's out-of-print gaming book you must have, I present the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Wilderness Survival Guide. As with previous books I've talked about here on the Syrin, I'm not really interested in the crunch here, but the fluff and imagination and all the gaming ideas a book like this can fire up for my own campaign. So, the old rule set here really doesn't matter. You can use the ideas you'll find in this 128-page book in anything you're playing. Alright, maybe not paranoia. I don't think that wilderness is really a thing in paranoia. Anyway, when I first read the Wilderness Survival Guide, it was honestly the first time I'd really thought about taking my dungeons and my dragons outside. And my goodness, this book sent them right outside right away. Exploring all sorts of different environments, from deserts to forests and arctics to swamps, this book introduced to D&D concepts such as fighting monsters in a hailstorm or trying to keep your lamp alight in a hurricane. The book has systems for thinking about how much clothing you have to wear and how long you can go without water, or finding ways to safely scale cliffs. It contains rules for foraging for food or navigating long distances without getting lost, something I can't do in the real world. It discusses boat travel and swimming and rappelling and, well, you get the idea. Filled with gorgeous old-style pictures from well-known artists such as Jeff Easley and Larry Elmore, I seriously think this book is a must for the shelf of anyone who calls himself a serious gamer. Whether, pun intended, you want to have this book purely from a historical point of view, Murray, or maybe like me, you love opening this kind of book and sparking some fresh ideas for your campaign, I suggest grabbing a copy today. You won't regret it. As we record, there are several copies on eBay for a worryingly wide range of prices. Snap one up. I love you, Wilderness Survival Guide. I love you. Well, that's all for this edition of The Syrin. Don't forget you can email us at thesyrin@gmail.com when you have something newsworthy. Please do share this video now with gamers everywhere. We will be launching our Zazzle store soon. Thanks for the overwhelmingly positive response to that idea. Let me know another cool out-of-print book I should buy. Either way, see you next time, and until then may you be swamped by mountains of just plain fabulous dice rolls.